Hey, welcome along to Navigating the Shift. Sarah and Annabelle here. We have a little bit of news, and then we also want to talk more about the shift and things changing, and we've got some great tools for you to help you navigate the shift as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First up is a little bit dark. So we're going to help you talk a little bit about the dark stuff, and then we're going to show you how to remove that clunky energy. Starts with the recent finding of 215 bodies buried on Catholic grounds in residential schools in Canada, Indigenous children's bodies. And that brings back the story from 2008, which I had heard about years ago, but I didn't really remember completely. But what happened, and there are testimonies from people who experienced this, who were residents of this home. And what they did was they absconded with these native children saying, oh, we can take better care of them than you, but without permission of the parents. It wasn't like they were orphans or anything. Horrible scandal. They were very badly abused. And at some point, the King and Queen of England came without any entourage, which is unusual. And they cleaned up the kids and gave them showers and nice new clothes and fed them some decent food for the first time in a long time. And they picked 10 children, 7 boys and 3 girls, and took them on a picnic. No, more than 10. They took more than 10. They took a group of them, but 10 of them, those boys and girls, disappeared.
Didn't go back.
The King and Queen took them off, and then they never came back.
Not even as adults. Yeah.
Yep. Was it a legal case? It was like a class action suit that they filed papers against the Queen.
Yeah.
They wanted the remains back of their children.
So I'm looking at the moment of a this is just a WordPress, like a blog, but it's a testimony, a first-hand testimony. This guy's 58, a Salish spirit dancer. He's 58 years old, from Vancouver, Canada. I am a survivor of the Kamloops and Mission Indian residential schools, both run by the Roman Catholic Church. I suffered terrible tortures there at the hands, especially of Brother Murphy, who killed at least 2 children. I witnessed him throw a child off a 3-story balcony to her death. He put me on a rack and broke some of my bones in the Kamloops school basement after I tried to run away. These stories continue on. It's really horrifying. And yeah, they've put together a letter that has been served on the Queen. It's to Elizabeth Windsor, aka Queen of Great Britain. They're being very specific. I thought it was Elizabeth Rex, actually, but it says, Dear Ms. Windsor. So it's not even Your Majesty or anything. There's no respect there at all. This public letter of demand is issued to you, Elizabeth Windsor, as one who claims the title and fiduciary responsibility of Queen of Great Britain and the Commonwealth. That they talk about these children, and they demand that they want the remains returned of all children who died in the Indian residential schools operated by the Church of England of Canada, aka Anglican Church. And it's a common law notice as well. Yeah, so they're coming back to common law. Now, this is really, really good. And we'll get to that in a minute, of what I've discovered here locally as well. But talking about the royal family, and I don't really feel like any of them are left wandering around anymore. I can't tune into them at all as to whether they're there or not. But it's the fact that this is starting to come out in the media has to be gradual. People are just going to not be able to understand it at all otherwise.
Yeah, I think the shock and pain would be too much. But it is coming out. There is a focus being put there with recently, I guess, some near neighbor of supposedly where Harry and Meghan live in California, was doing some building or something, and they found a bunch of indigenous bones buried underneath, which of course stops the process. You have to deal with them properly. But the idea is, connecting royalty with indigenous dead people. So, I think it'll come out. It's going to be slow. And there's going to be a lot worse than that people are going to find out. And I'm sorry for those of you anybody who experienced any type of this abuse, but also For those of you who haven't gone through this yet, it was really painful becoming aware of it for both Annabelle and I and everybody. How could it not be? It's horrifying. But here's a tool that you can use to remove the gack from this story, this awareness, and taking it forward. So I created this energetic tool. It's called a charm mesh. Charm was evidently a fifth dimensional color. It looks like a pastel-y iridescent soap bubble. It started out golden, but it shifted, and several of my clients noticed. It's like, did you notice it shifted? I'm like, yeah, I know. So really interesting. But anyway, what it is, it's like a screen that removes energetically anything that's not yours or whatever you program it to do. It's a tool. So I want you to take a breath, and you can feel the energy of that information about what's happened to children, and just to let it come up, right? And then we're going to ask all of that be removed from you. So take a couple breaths, feeling into your heart. You can put your hand over your heart, out of your head into your heart. And I'm just going to move this through your body, from way under your feet, for your whole aura. I've got everybody here. I've done this thousands of times with big groups of people, and whatever now moment you're watching this, it's already programmed in there. So any of that or any other stuff about that isn't yours and is a clunky old energy feeling, all that's coming with it, not just that one event. Remember to keep breathing. Think about someone or something that you love with all innocence, not something that's got any gack on it, It can be a sunrise, sunset, a beautiful flower, a child, a puppy. Let that flow in as you breathe in. And I'm going to move this through here. And then focusing on your brain, I want you to take a big breath in and then blow out forcefully, and imagine any thoughts that just circle and circle that are negative in there. Let those all blow out, and I'll gather those up too. So take a big breath in and then blow out. Oh, yeah, better. You can do that more if you'd like. You start to feel, your neck will feel better. Your brain will get much quieter. So all of that has come through. And another tool I have is called the Uncreate Wormhole in space. So let's take another breath and we'll toss that in. Whew. And what this does, it uncreates any structuring or patterning that may have been put onto that energy, takes it to neutral, does a U-turn. It goes to neutral source love energy. And so it comes, once that's done, and it's instant, but explaining it takes a little time. Take a deep breath in into your heart and expand that out. And notice how good that feels, how much better. Good, excellent.
Yeah. That mesh got caught on my tailbone. That was curious. Not that I've not had any issues when I was a child, as far as I know. But
in this life,
no.
Or you're feeling the rest of the energy. That's where it would be, pelvis, sacrum.
Yeah. That you find sometimes as you move your mesh through. I've found when I've done this with you that it'll stop in a place. It might stop on my knee or a rib or something, and it'll hold, and then it'll just take a little bit of a shake to lift it further, and then off it goes. Yeah, great. It's a good one.
And if that little bit of shake doesn't work, just ask the question, what's it going to take to release this or shift this? And whatever just is the first thought that comes into your head, or the first sort of image you see. Is it shaking? Is it fairies sprinkling it with their pixie dust off their little sticks, or whatever shows up? Just say, okay, thank you. And just, you don't have to know what it is. Just, if it's a feeling, if it's a thought, if it's a smell, it's a color, any of your senses, things, or even if you don't perceive anything, just say, please give me whatever it's going to take to shift this, and trust that the universe will. Pretty cool.
Or it might be an action, like burn your diary, or move house. Who knows? There might be an action, or say sorry to somebody. You don't quite know what it'll be. It's always surprising and always interesting what comes up.
The other sort of good news, although it has bad news, is that certain people in a couple of organizations are actually coming out in mainstream media as being not really the good guys. One is the Dr. Fauci and the National Institute of Health, where it's actually out that they funded Wuhan for gain of function research.
Which means they're breeding a superbug to see how nasty they can make a bug that would, or a virus or a pathogen is a better way of explaining it, to cause the most damage on the human body. It's totally unethical.
And all the links are down below, by the way, but it's been coming out in Senate. You've done some really tough questioning of Fauci in the Senate, which is interesting. Good, kind of fun to see, although I can't stand that man's voice. It's like, oh no, I don't want to listen to him. But that's coming out. And then the other group, of course, is Black Lives Matter. The BLM leader of the whole state of Minnesota has recently put out a public message saying he's out of there, that he realizes it's not doing what they say they're doing. They are not supporting education and helping families stay united within Black lives. And he's outing them. Well, of course, the other stuff that various leaders have been taking the money and buying expensive houses and having parties and staying in penthouses. And I think there was one arrest, not of the tippity top, but there was an arrest. And which, of course, all of this stuff that happens, that means we have to start looking at it legally. And then evidence gets pulled into the court.
Right. Yeah. And that's, they're buying houses and having parties with the money instead of helping Black people. And that's just the money that they were getting. There was a lot more money. There was millions of dollars coming into them through their website. And I think it was Jordan Safer quite a long time back when they first appeared in the press, that noticed on their website, if you go to their website.com and then you press donate, that it goes through to Act Blue, which is a website that collects money for the Dems. So it was up to them to decide. They would have collected millions of dollars and just given a little snippet of that to BLM, and then the BLM went and bought houses with it and had some fun, and it didn't do anything, helpful.
Can anybody think of any program or grants or anything that this organization has done other than just, protesting and being
burn
bullies
cars
over other people and
damage businesses? Yeah, goodness knows. Yeah.
So the good news is it's coming out, I think, and a lot of intuitives, you and I both, Annabelle, we're just getting things are going to start really happening in June. We may have some good ET. We're supposed to have scheduled some really potent ET disclosure, what our U.S. government actually knows about them, and we'll see what happens. But I think it's going to start to shift. So you mentioned something about the legal system shifting.
Yeah.
What was that?
Well, a couple of things, actually. First of all, our own website, if you're watching this on YouTube, you might see that on the right-hand side, the suggested videos. There's some of our other videos there. I noticed that last night. It's the first time ever since we first set up this channel. Before that, you would find no more of our videos. If you search for our name, we wouldn't show up in the search results. It's just been deliberately knocked back so much, and then the first time last night, there's some of our other videos showing up. So that is a change. That is a change in Google and YouTube. And the second thing was someone who I know is meant to go to court on the 2nd of June, and got a message maybe 3 weeks ago saying, it has to be postponed because there won't be any magistrates in court. And when asked, why, where are the magistrates, they said, they'll be in a conference.
In a conference.
So
now, do you think they're really in a conference, or are they?
When you have a conference that is that big, when you've got that many people, you would organize that months ahead, right?
That's true.
So you would already know the date. So you would never make a booking of hearings and things on that date, unless it was just a mistake. But otherwise, if it's short notice, I'm kind of wondering that if it's re-education, if they're actually going to take the judges back to common law.
Ooh,
so we were just talking about common law before with the Kamloops school, and how this letter was served on them through the common law court.
Wow.
And that'd be nice. That's hearing different cases now, because common law is very simple. I can't remember how old it is, but it was what they wanted to remove, I think, with the the burning of London in 1666, and when the new C'etat Qui, I think it's called, came into power, where all people were considered missing persons because all the files got burnt, you see. And they changed the courts at that point and made everybody a dead person unless you could come deliberately to the court and prove that you were alive and could claim your possessions. So that is why you register everything now. You register your births, marriages, deaths, businesses, your motor car, boats and bikes and all the rest. You register everything. Regi means to give it to the crown. It's given to the crown. That's why if you look on your registration papers, I don't have any here right now, for me, on mine in Australia, I'm listed as the registered operator. I'm not the owner anymore. I've given it away. This is the slave.
Of your car?
Yeah. Don't own
anything.
Yeah, have a look at your own registration papers and see. So all of that system came into being at that point in 1666, 666. And hopefully we are cutting that back out and going back to common law, which is very basic. It's about you shall not harm another person, you shall not harm another person's property, you cannot misrepresent yourself, like lie or be a con man or whatever, and you must keep the peace. That's it. That's what it should.
So if you want to learn more, look up Maritime Admiralty Law, which is a law of the oceans, and you will see, if you study that, this is what we've been under, and it's a way different system than common law, which is the law of the land. Who has good information on that? Jordan Maxwell goes into it. So if you want to check him out, we'll find some links. I'll put a name. Yeah, we'll put something in there.
There's also a very good explanation on the War Castles YouTube channel. Have a look at that. I'll put in the key for that one.
Oh, good.
Excellent.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I had a recent thing just shipped yesterday. Now that we're in June, yay! On a very long-standing legal case, 5.5 years, and I finally got the positive judgment. I mean, it has been messed with and tweaked, and people have apologized to me because somebody up high told them they have to do this negative thing to you, and I have to take the blame for it. And I wanted it to go the normal route, Sarah, and I'm really sorry. I mean, so it's a big chunk of change for me, and I've been waiting a long time for it.
What's the first thing you're going to do when it arrives in your bank account?
Oh my gosh.
Cry.
Probably hire a gardener.
Hire a gardener.
Oh, yeah. Do some things that I can't do. Big stuff. A chipper for some branches and things that have been piling up. I've been pruning. But the other thing I've been planning for a long time is there's this really high-end, fancy, expensive Italian restaurant in the town I live in, downtown. And I just was thinking, I'm going to take my kids there and we're going to have a nice dinner on me.
Beautiful. And you'll need a new dress or something to go to the restaurant, surely.
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that. I'm not really a clothes hanger.
This is the thing, though, right? If you've been waiting for that money for 5.5 years, you forget how to spend it. Like I had, a few dry years as well, and the money came in, and I just went fell down on the ground, and I just didn't know where to start. I'd forgotten how to even go window shopping. So I think as the abundance starts to flow for everybody, and it is going to, the banks, they know it, that this new system is coming into being, and all the people in the banks are going to be either out of work completely or vastly reduced in how many people we need there. Same as the government and the Inland Revenue Department. Nearly nobody's going to be in there because there won't be personal tax. I'm assuming it'll be transaction tax that they'll use, or sales tax. And that's all that there will be. So you won't need anybody to police it or to choose conditions of whether you've done it right or not. It'll just be automatic. All these new systems are in place and ready to go, and they'll just be taken and put in one little bit at a time, so as not to freak everybody out.
Here's a suggestion to help you to feel like, that feeling if you are window shopping where you see something, you go, oh, I really wish I could have that. That would be so nice. I just can't afford it. Try doing this. I did this with some people during a lunch break at a seminar I was teaching. We all went to go get lunch, and I said, look into the stores and see what really is like, oh, if only I could buy that. Oh, I really want that. And then after we were done eating, I did some shifting with them so they really felt, really in the core of themselves, we had millions of dollars in your bank account. You can buy anything you want. And then as we walked back by those same stores, notice how you feel. And everybody was like, oh, I don't want it anymore.
Oh, how about that?
I don't want it anymore.
Isn't that
because
funny?
right?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's nice enough, but I don't need it. There's something there to look at. That there are a lot of people who shop to handle
It's
negative
therapy,
emotions.
right?
Yeah, that's
Retail
what
therapy.
retail therapy, right? Get something new, I'll feel better.
Mm.
And then you end up with, half burnt candles that you spent extra money on, wondering, well, why did I buy those? Now what am I going to do? I guess I just have to throw them out. I never use them,
Well, they
but
put
in
things
that
in their
moment,
mouth, put food in their mouth the same way. That'll make me feel
yeah.
better. All these
So
addictions will
think
go.
about how that's going to shift really on money, because money has been so suppressive or lack thereof. The whole Babylonian money magic system that we've been under is designed to put you under stress.
Mm. Mm.
And so you're hungry for things you want. It keeps you locked into material realm, because if you weren't, you might become more spiritual and you might break free.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And they
that's
can't
what we're
stop that
doing.
now. Yeah,
They
everybody's
can't.
doing it.
I hope that's useful for you, helpful for you. Try it out, and we will make sure we have more tools and techniques you can use each time we connect. So come on back, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, definitely. And if you notice anything that's happening around you as well, in terms of your media, your local government, anything that is feeling like it's freeing up and something's changed and is different, then write it in the comments below, because we'd love to know. We love to keep track of these things. And if you want to donate to us, there's also a little link in the description as well. That would be very much appreciated.
And if you try those tools, let us know what happens. I'd love to get that feedback. All right. Thank you.
Have a good week. Bye.
Bye.